So now I'm just going to walk through how we have this set up and go through each section. So this is the landing page, obviously. There's not a lot here now. We do in the future envision that there would be some sort of newsfeed feature, blog-like, that would and have agency updates that they can share with each other. Our SIF 2011 team did a newsletter for all the subgrantees, and there was a lot of good feedback for that. So we'll probably mimic that process and just have it live on the SharePoint system. So on the left here, we have all of our different sub-pages. Our first one is SubGrantee Resources. So this is just a document repository where we can put any information that subgrantees need so that we can avoid a lot of that back and forth emailing all the time and people trying to look for things in their email. It's just kind of a one-stop shop where anytime a subgrantee needs any sort of resource, hopefully it would be here and accessible to them. So as you can see, we have our most up-to-date reporting templates here, training materials, there's information on NSCHD in there, our reporting process and calendar and who to contact for what. We have an evaluation folder, which is sort of a placeholder for now, a communications folder, which has logos that they might need, guidance from CNCF on what the requirements are for, attributing SIF, that sort of information. And then a past meeting folder where we are going to house PowerPoints and agendas, just things that, everyone would like to access after meetings. And then we just, simple information, anything somebody might need, our 2017 updated parking instructions, just how to get to our United Way, which for agencies who are hiring new staff, that's an easy place to find that, and they can share with their new staff. There's a couple of features here that we really like. Agencies or users actually can set alerts, which anytime we upload a new document or anything like that, they'll get a quick email alert letting them know that information has been added. So we have suggested to all of our subgrantees, you can do that based on folder, that they set an alert specifically for the reporting templates folder. But anytime that we update those templates, they get a notification so that they don't begin a report using an old template. That way everyone's up to date. And then as far as the permission levels for this section go, myself and our program associate, Crystal Sims, we're the only two that can upload into this specific resources section. And that's just to make sure that we keep it organized and agencies know that any information that they want to share, maybe with each other or with us, that they can send it to Crystal and I, and we'll get it uploaded and organized. We did training with our subgrantees recently on the SharePoint system. They all sort of had the same thought about, this would be great if we could put templates in here and I can look at my, my partner agency over there, I can look at their templates and what really worked for them. So it kind of, they already came up with ideas of how they see the benefit for them, and that was one of their first ideas. So we'll be doing that moving forward. So we do have a calendaring here, and this is, again, helpful. There's especially in the beginning, there's so much going on. So we have different layers to the calendar. There's just a general calendar, and then a calendar for each of our 4 subgrantees, and then a reporting due dates calendar. And they just live all on top of each other. They're overlays. Agents, you can filter out which calendars that you want to see. So if I'm Access and I want to only see my calendar and the reporting due dates, I can do that. And then anything that's just applicable to my agency will pop up. And then again, the permission levels on this are set so that only UWSEM staff can add to the calendar. That might change as we move along. And then a great feature too that we like about SharePoint is we can bulk upload events using Microsoft Access. That way we don't have to input each individual event, one at a time. We can do it sort of all together. And then we've also decided that we're going to use the SharePoint to collect reports, like I mentioned. And there was a couple of reasons for this. It's SharePoint, from what our IT team has told us, SharePoint is safer than email. So if an agency is submitting financial report with documentation, the SharePoint is more encrypted than if it comes via email to us. So we have there's a subpage for each agency, and they can only see their subpage. So if I'm Access and I log in, I can see all of those options, but Access would only be able to see their page. And then we have it broken out by category. We have a PDF copy of their contract in here just for their records, financial reports, their NSDHC reports, and their progress reports. And then the permissions are set on this so that every agency can upload based on their responsibility. So their finance staff has the ability to edit and upload to this folder, their program staff to progress reports, et cetera. Some of the features that we like about collecting and reporting this site is that it does timestamp and it says who uploaded the report. And that's just sort of a log so that we don't have to look back through our email and see to make sure that agencies reported on time. It's all there in one place. For us internally, just for workflow purposes, we all have alerts set. So when a financial report comes in, our finance team will get an alert letting them know that a finance report has come in. And another feature that we really like is that you can check documents in and out so that if my finance team is reviewing a report that I might need to review as well, it's checked out while they're reviewing it and I can't make any edits to it or look at it. That's just a good way to break out the workflow so that we know where we are in the process, since some of these reports have to go through a lot of checkpoints internally. And then it also has version control. So if I ask a agency to update their narrative in their progress report, for example, they can just edit that version of the document or upload a second version, and it will track when the original one was submitted, and you can view what the original one looks like, and then it will track when the second one was submitted as well. And that way there's no confusion about, if I have saved on our servers the most recent version, maybe it's still in my email. This way it just all gets tracked. So going back to the home page, our team as well, we also have an internal one, and this is just a page that we can see. Particularly for monitoring our financial payments out and tracking our NSDHC compliance, we have one version of those documents that live in these folders. And that just allows it to be centralized and know who made the last edit so that we're all up to date and we're working from the most recent file. And then this has the same features as the agency pages, so we can all set alerts, check documents in and out, et cetera. Going back to the home page. It does have a discussion board feature as well. The guidance that we've given agencies is, use this if a great idea came up or something happened, but this isn't the place that we'll do a lot of our primary communication. And the permission levels are set here that anybody can post a discussion, reply to a discussion, or delete a discussion. And then we do have a contacts page as well, and this is broken out by agency. We can make sure that we have the most up-to-date contact information, especially for members of their agency that we probably wouldn't contact on a regular basis. If somebody from their communications team changes, they can just come in here and update this list themselves so that it's the most recent up-to-date contact information. SharePoint does have a feature where you can export a list to Excel, which is great for agencies who just want to take this list, export it, and save it on their computer, or provide it to another member of their team who might not have access to this page. It's a good feature for that.